Welcome back to Riella's Army of Dolls, where I talk all things fashion doll while I introduce you to my huge collection of dolls. And today I'm talking about a new 12-inch fashion doll, and I have to say this is one I really never expected to have or to talk about or to even exist because, we have such great dolls coming out, but a lot of these dolls really are not collector level. And one of those dolls that I've always thought was just a toy, just a cheap plaything is the Defa Lucy doll. Now, she most often is purchased from Shein or Temu and from other Chinese dealers. But just about, it was not long ago, about a month ago, via Facebook, I heard announced that there was going to be a brand new collector level Defa Lucy doll. That was a real shock. She has been around since I think about 2002. She's a Chinese doll. She is mass produced. She's really considered a clone of the Barbie or close to. And suddenly there's going to be a collector doll who is high end and, just cool, appealing to all things collector. So I was pretty surprised. I looked at the photos. It was a really fun lead up actually to this release because we were invited to a special Facebook group and teaser photos were put out, first showing just little hints of the doll and then more and more. At some point orders were open and it was crazy to see how many people were ordering this doll without even seeing what she actually looked like. Now, I did wait until the full reveal before I ordered and I got in just in time because she sold out pretty quickly. So this is the new Defa Lucy. She's the icon doll. She's a very limited release. I think it was 300. And yeah, there are not many in the world. There is an icon 1.5 now as well though, who is a slightly larger release. She's 888 from memory. So there aren't going to be many of these dolls. They seem to be pretty popular. These dolls sold out very quickly and the 1.5 sold out on the US website, before I even got there to look, and I was, looking within a few hours. So it was a very quick sellout. I'm interested to see how much I like her, as to how excited I am for upcoming releases. But I do think it is very cool when a new maker gets into the collector market. Toys are fun, but collector dolls, awesome. The first thing to note about this new Defa Lucy is that she comes in her own heavy-duty shipper box. That might seem like a tiny thing and unimportant, except that when you look at the previous editions of Defa Lucy, the play versions, these are generally shipped in, lightweight bags. They have no shipper, and both of these dolls came to me with really dinted boxes. Not perhaps a big deal when you're talking about a play doll that's going to be opened and, played with by children. But for a collector doll, I think it's a big deal, especially when you have a look at the interior box. Again, another huge and obvious immediate improvement is that the box is really impressive. It looks like a collector box. I kind of wish that there was a window in it to see her, but she's not the only doll that comes without one. But yeah, if you look at the two boxes side by side, clearly this one is the high-end one. This one is the play doll. And you can see that considering the change in price of these dolls, this box would actually cost a lot more to produce. I mean, not as much as the price difference. And while I'm opening this, talking about those prices, the new doll is retailing for $65 US, whereas the previous dolls cost, I guess, around $20 US per doll. It is worth noting that these ones you can generally get with free shipping, whereas these ones, the shipping price was significantly more. So including shipping, she was $100 US, whereas this one is going to cost you 20. That's a pretty big difference. So opening up the top, we can reveal the new Lucy. I've slipped her out of the main box so she's a little bit easier to see, and that's also revealed her card. I think I said 300 before, but she is a limited edition of 250. Mine is number 175, Series 1 Icon. I have a feeling this doll is going to increase in value, and after buying her, I kind of wish I had ordered two because I feel like, yeah, she could be an investment. And she has such striking colors, this doll. The other thing I noticed immediately without looking further is the fact that she has a stand in here. We can see the black piece there, and like with a JHD or an Integrity Toys doll, we've got the base block behind her legs. That to me is a huge advantage, because opening these play dolls and finding no stand, it's just really frustrating. They really can't stand on their own. And yes, I get that kids usually aren't standing their dolls up to display them. If this is a play doll, that's the way it is. But, I put my dolls on a shelf, and that's the way I like to look at them. So if there's no stand, well, you can't really do that. We can also have a look at the face. I can't assess yet whether it is absolutely the exact same sculpt, but looking at it so far, it does look very similar, and I will see them up close a little bit later. I can see straight away that she's got eyelashes. That's a great feature. The thing I wasn't sure about this doll when I saw the promo photos was the makeup. It is so strong, such a huge contrast, that I'm not sure if I love it. The outfit looks really, really well made. The oversized jacket was the thing that stood out immediately in the promo photos, but also looking at her here. And I think the quality looks amazing on that. You can also see that she's got a pair of glasses here, which is fun because the other edition that I have open here has glasses too. And so I can do a direct comparison. Her shoes, I did read this online, and it feels like a disappointment seeing them. They are just a block of plastic. They remind me very much of Momoko shoes though, and I guess when it comes down to it, Momoko is actually a more expensive doll, and the quality of shoes is only comparable. I can also see again some things that I didn't like about opening this doll. I often talk about, having to cut little snaps. She had quite a few to cut, especially around the head. And there was one here holding the glasses on, and I ended up snipping some of her hairs, and that really, really annoyed me. She has the best thing to me about this doll is her hair, and, the mix of colors. And there I go, immediately cutting off some of the strands. This doll appears to just be held in with the plastic straps, so I'm going to cut through those. She's got nothing on her head except the protection for her hair. That's great. The experience of taking her out of the box was overall a good one. There were none of those little plastic snaps holding her head. I always like that. Most of them were just a little strip of plastic to cut that was holding her in. There were 2 stitches holding the back of her jacket. The only thing that I found, I guess, a little bit nail biting was cutting the straps that were around the sleeves of her jacket. They were quite tight, and the jacket, is loose. It's meant to be oversized, and I was a little bit worried about cutting it. I didn't, but I could see that somebody could do that if they slipped. I really like the stand, and I was actually really happy with the fact that the stand was held in with strips of plastic as well, because the way that the Integrity Toys dolls hook them into the little loops of cardboard, I do often end up tearing the box, and this one I didn't. I couldn't put it back in because the straps are now cut, but at the same time the box is left perfect, and the stand is really cool. It's a little bit hard to see on the video, but it's quite a unique shape, and it does have the DL logo just lightly imprinted on it. The only issue with the stand is that the way it was covered in plastic, I actually put a light scratch on the top of it, and that's a little bit disappointing, I guess, but it's beautiful. In terms of the quality of everything else, the boots, they are, look, it's a nice mold, but it's just a molded piece of plastic. It doesn't feel a huge step up from the Playline ones. Really not step up at all, to be honest. The clothing looks nice. I will take it off and we'll get a better look at it. It is simple. It sort of all hinges on the centerpiece of the jacket. And to be honest, the big jacket is not really my style. So even though it's really cool, I feel like without it, I don't know if it'll be enough. I kind of like the idea of the cat suit. She can be maybe, a little superhero. The only extras she has are these earrings. They look okay, like a step up from plastic earrings. And I guess if you compare them with the Playline earrings, wow, they're so much better because they are either metal or metallic style. I'm not quite sure yet. They're still a little bit forgettable. The glasses, I put them on because they're there, but I'm really not liking them. They are only, a tiny step up from Playline glasses. They're still just molded plastic. They just have a lens rather than continuation of the piece, of the plastic piece. But the other glasses that the Playline doll came with actually are not too bad either. They're also a fun shape, and because of the nature of how the plastic is cast, they appear to have a lens because it is thin enough to see through. So I'm not really sure that the Icons glasses are really any better, in my opinion. Her hair feels really good quality and thin. It feels just slightly kind of oily to the touch. It has a more realistic, more fine feel than this one. Now, I'm not a person who can say immediately on touching doll hair whether it is, sarin or nylon or what. But this one feels very nice. It feels fine. It has quite a realistic touch to it. I actually quite like the Playline Lucy's hair as well, but it definitely feels thicker in the hand. It feels like the strands are less realistically scaled, but it still looks very nice. Without the jacket, her onesie is pretty basic. It is fun, and I think, yeah, with the addition of a belt, maybe some little tools to make it look more like a sort of Catwoman suit, I think it could look pretty cool. But as it is, I'm not in love with the outfit. It's nice, it's fun, but it feels like a sort of easy way to give her a very basic outfit is to add the jacket. Her outfit as a whole leaves me looking for just a little bit more. It's nice and it's all very well made. The catsuit does have a zip up back, which is good. It, adds to, I guess, the realism and takes away from it feeling a bit Playline. The boots I've mentioned a few times. I feel no better about them now that they're off. They are okay. The jacket is fully lined. It's great quality. But, it's a single statement piece, and if you don't like it, there's sort of nothing left. Everything is definitely a bit better than the Playline outfit. It all has single hemming. It has, very low quality feel fabrics, Velcro up the back. The shoes and accessories are just molded pieces of plastic. There's not even, a split at the back to help get them on. Both the earrings and the necklace are, just a lump of plastic. So I do prefer these ones. They are definitely higher end, but at the same time, how much, I guess, is debatable. In the lead up to this doll's release, there was some question and a bit of debate online as to whether she was going to have a new body or not. There was mention of a new body, but it was just defined as new hand sculpt. And seeing these two together, that is absolutely confirmed. And I would say it is the biggest thing that I would like to see improved in this doll is her body. It is okay. That is as much as I can say. Not only is it the same design, but it feels to be still a low quality plastic, maybe a slightly higher weight to it, having just lifted them up. I'd say that the Icon Lucy, I've just made her hair pretty messy, but that's okay, it'll brush out. But I would say that her body has a heavier weight feel to it, but it still feels quite light. It still doesn't feel the weight of an Integrity Toys doll, for example. If you look at the design, it looks like a cheap Barbie body. I don't mind, that it isn't as elegant as some of the other doll bodies, but I do mind that it has this very basic torso with the imprinted underwear. It would be nice to get an extra joint in there. It would be very nice to take out the imprinted underwear, which to me is a real sign of Playline dolls. The material is just slightly, speckly from the black material that I just took off her. I don't think it will stain, but at the same time, I feel like there is a bit of a risk to that. The hands are not bad. They are quite a good sculpt, and this is the thing that is meant to be new on these dolls. So if we compare the previous one, these hands are quite small in comparison and a little bit sort of lumpy and chunky in size. They look younger, I think that's overall the Defa Lucy doll has a kind of young feel, so that's not a bad thing, but it does make this doll look more elegant that she has these shapely adult type hands. Comparing this doll to an Integrity Toys like Poppy Parker or a Mitzi doll really just doesn't seem fair. When you look at them together, honestly, bodies and their quality is just night and day. I do really appreciate the strides that Defa Lucy have come, and that this doll really has some features about her that set her well above play dolls, but at the same time, the body sadly is not one of them. I really think that that is something that is going to need to be improved. Beside these other dolls, she just looks clunky, basic, and more budget. And to be fair, her price is also a lot lower. But at the same time, JHD and Integrity Toys started with lower prices as well. Here we can see the faces. That's where I do feel that the Defa Lucy has ticked the boxes. If you have a look at the three faces, they really do look comparable. So the bodies, no, but the faces, absolutely. These are all beautiful dolls. They all have the features of what I would expect from a collector doll. The quality of the makeup as well. I think everything is pretty much on a par, and that includes the hair. When I add Barbie Extra into the mix, that's when we see some real similarities. So the faces, if I compare those again, we can see that Barbie Extra is definitively not a collector doll in terms of looking at her face. She's pretty, but she just doesn't have those things that stand out and really make the other three pop. But if we have a look at the four bodies, well, we've got some real similarities here. So Mitzi versus Poppy Parker, we can see have, a similar build, similar joint type, similar sculpting style. And the two in the middle, well, they are kind of hard to tell apart. I would have believed it if someone had told me that the Defa Lucy had the same body as Barbie Extra. They are so close in every detail, so including having the built-in undies, but also the shape of the hips, the belly button, the bust. So many similarities. That also happens when we have a look down at the legs. They are very, very similar length, shape, style. So again, when you're talking about collector price versus play price, is it justified with the new Defa Lucy icon? I'm not totally sure. She is definitely a pretty doll, but I think that she is a pretty doll who could be improved. Of these four dolls, it's definitely not a big surprise that Mitzi and Poppy Parker are significantly better posers than the other two. Can see they are, oh, look, there's a hair's breadth difference between them. I'm honestly not sure who poses the best. At least in terms of the legs, Mitzi might just have a very slightly greater bend capability than Poppy, but it is super close. What did surprise me is that when I go back to the other two, actually the Barbie Extra, who keep in mind is a doll who costs about 20 to 25 US dollars, as opposed to Defa Lucy's $65, the Barbie Extra actually has a slightly greater posing capability. The leg is nearly identical, but when it comes to the arms, I found Lucy's arm actually quite difficult to get into shape, and its bend is really very, very limited, whereas the Barbie Extras was easier to move and poses just slightly better. I'm really happy to have this fun new doll. There are so many good things about her. Her face in particular is just really beautiful, and the price point is a really good entry level collector point. Dolls from Integrity Toys and even JHD are actually getting really quite expensive for the collector market these days. So it's a breath of fresh air to have something that really is quite affordable, marketed to collectors. And you can probably see I've redressed the two Lucy dolls. It's really another really nice thing about the 12-inch dolls is how much really good quality, low priced clothing there is out there for them. So these two outfits just came from AliExpress, I think, and they both look really good on the dolls. I tried the pink one on Icon first and found that the colours clashed a bit. So she's in the black and white, and that made me think that the black suit with the black jacket was a pretty intelligent choice because it makes her makeup really shine and her hair colour just look fabulous. Much as I like this doll's stunning face, and there is a lot to like about it, the really beautiful makeup, the lovely eyelashes, and this sort of sharp and striking hair color, all of that stuff is fabulous. But unfortunately, the body just doesn't back up the fabulousness of the face. I really wish that Defa Lucy had spent a little bit more time in planning before they released the first of this Icon series. The hands are nice, the face is lovely, but the body I really, really want to be upgraded. It is workable, and that is as much as I would say about it. And not just the body, but also some of the extras that the doll came with were just a little bit underwhelming. The boots and the glasses, really just pieces of plastic, while the clothing, although really well made, is very basic for what it is. And again, it is important to remember that she isn't an expensive doll, but then she isn't a cheap doll either. So I really would be expecting, you know, especially for the first one, to push the envelope a little bit and give us something spectacular. And I think they've got halfway there. I like this doll, but do I love her? No, I don't. I'm happy to have her, but I might wait and see if a new body comes out or if there are other quality improvements before I go back for more of the Defa Lucy. I do think she is a lovely addition to the collection though. Let me know if you feel the same about this Defa Lucy, if you're excited to see more. I definitely am. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, then please do that right away.